Hi people, welcome to Thursday's devotional. I hope it's a good one for you. We've been talking about the Good Shepherd. What a great theme. Jesus reveals himself, so much about himself in the I ams of the book of John. It's just a stunning theme. Go and read them, find them, search them out and read about what Jesus says about himself. Because the depth of your Christian experience is going to be very much determined by your understanding or your knowledge of knowing who he is and experiencing him for what he says he is. I spoke yesterday to you about the wonder of God knowing us by name, and we revel in the fact that he knows us by name. I love that passage in Revelation where it says that one day when we get to heaven, he'll give us a new name. It'll be written on a white stone. And the white is significant of being redeemed. And when you get redeemed, God gives you a new name. He's always changing people's names. He changed Abram to Abraham, Sarai to Sarah. He changed Saul to Paul, and Peter to, from Simon to Peter. He's always changing names. There's something significant to God about a name. And when he looks at himself, God reveals himself in the Old Testament. And the people, every time he did that, they gave to him a new name. And we speak about that often, and that's a series that you could go back and look at. I love that series particularly. But today, if God has given himself a name and he calls himself the Good Shepherd, that makes us the sheep. I need to say this, and I don't want to say it too much, but if we are sheep, sheep, they are not the brightest animals in the world. They're not the sharpest tools in the shed. Sheep are easily led astray. Sheep are undisciplined. They have some filthy habits. They're very unattractive in the main. They smell. They're not particularly clever animals. The one thing about a sheep is he's totally undiscerning. He will fall for whatever comes. And if another person comes to call him and says, "Come to my flock," then he'll probably wander over there and see if the grass is greener on the other side. And there's a picture of that, and I used it the other week when I spoke about the undiscerningness of a sheep. Jesus warns about a wolf, and that's a picture of Satan being dressed in sheep's clothing. I don't know about you, but I sometimes think if a wolf came with a sheep's skin on him, I think I'd see that he had a sheep's skin on. But apparently sheep are not bright enough or discerning enough to recognize a wolf in sheep's clothing. That's how bad it can be for a sheep. But the wonder that God still loves us is quite incredible. And when I think of the wonder of how much God loves us, I think about the wonder of the nature of the sheep and the undiscerningness of a sheep, and about how somebody once said that sheep should never have passed the evolutionary test, because they fail at every level. If evolution is reserved for the fittest and the strongest, then a sheep should never have made it. But sheep have existed and lasted because they've had shepherds who have looked after them and tended to them. Isaiah 53 gives it in a great picture. He says, "We like sheep have all gone astray." We've all done our own thing. We've all gone into places where maybe we shouldn't have gone. But Jesus still loves his sheep. And until we as human beings understand the degradation of humanity, we'll never understand or be able to fully comprehend the wonder of the love of God. Because we think God loves nice people. Nah, God loves sheep. That means everybody. We think God has got an exclusive, array of people that he likes particularly. No, that's not true either. We're all sheep. We've all gone astray. We've all gone our own way. And the wonder of God's love is pretty extensive, because it incorporates all of those amazing things. Now, the sheep are not known for anything other than sometimes their stupidity. Sometimes they produce some nice wool or some nice meat to eat. But in the main, sheep are unruly, ungovernable, and they get themselves into a lot of trouble. So what I'm saying is really this, is that sheep is a great description of us as human beings. And if we come to God thinking we're anything better than a sheep, we're delusional. Because if we think sheep are bad, have a look around the world. Have a look at some of the dilemmas that you, or maybe you have even faced, and you say, wow, That was the stupidest decision I ever made. Why? How did I get that situation? Why was I so gullible? Well, the answer to the situation and the problem is that you're a sheep. You're just a sheep. And sheep can be somewhat sheepish, if you get my drift here. And they tend to think, oh, well, I'm embarrassed about where I've been. I'm embarrassed about what I've done. But I wonder if you notice that when a sheep is welcomed home to the sheepfold, how the other sheep welcome him home. They will run around him and nuzzle him, and they're saying to him, hey, welcome home, where have you been? It's so good to have you back. Isn't that a beautiful picture of something that humanity don't necessarily do? When we see people going astray, we judge them. When we see people wandering off the path, we get pretty hectic about it. We have a few Bible verses and a few sermons that we would like to throw at them. But the sheep don't do that. They just love them, albeit sometimes from a distance, and they can't wait for the sheep to return. I used to farm sheep for a little while, and when a sheep was brought back to the fold, the sheep were always incredibly welcoming. Wouldn't it be great, people, if our churches could be more like that? One of the great characteristics of sheep is they have a very short memory. And we have long memories. We can remember some of the wrongs that people have done to us many years ago, and we still sit and we gloat on them and we hold on to them. We never let them go. Maybe we should pick up on one of the better characteristics of sheep, and that is that of having such a short memory. And they welcome people home. They nuzzle them in and they say, man, it's good to have you back again. People, Norwegian Settlers Church, I'm so proud of you guys, because I see this being evidenced. I wish we could maybe do it a tad better sometimes, but well done, you people, for welcoming the sometimes lost and those that have gone astray. That's a great thing about being one of the sheep of God. As God welcomes us home, let's welcome one another home after we have gone astray, because at the end of the day, we're just a bunch of sheep. So I'll say bye-bye to you all today. That was corny. That was stupid. Maybe I should redo this. No, stick with it. Have a great day, people, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.